So guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about some recent news and something that was published online and really hasn't gotten that much attention, but I think it's really interesting. So we're gonna talk a little bit about S4 and some recent pictures taken from the air of S4. But first of all, if you don't know what S4 is, let's start off with a map of the United States. So we're gonna zoom in some features here. Namely, what's important to know is that this is Nevada here. So Nevada has a big city that is Las Vegas. So north of Las Vegas, you will find Area 51. So if you zoom in here, you got the very mysterious base Area 51. And north of that base, you will find a dry lake called Papoose Lake. So Papoose Lake, supposedly, it's the place where Bob Lazar worked on alien spacecraft, or so he says in his interview. So going a little bit back, I think it's important to listen to what Bob Lazar said initially. So let's listen to Bob Lazar a little bit and what he had to say about Area 51 and S4.
Did you witness any disk technology at Area 51?
No, there was absolutely no ET craft, ET technology, anything like that at Area 51. This is why S4 was made specifically to separate it there. People at Area 51 do not have the clearance.
How long were you employed at S4, and when were you hired?
When was I hired at S4? I guess early '89, and I was probably there only about 6 months or so, on a very infrequent basis.
How were you transported to and from work?
At the time that I was working there at McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas, there was a Special Projects EG&G building. When I was told to go to work, I drove there, parked my car there, and got in a plane at the airport, flew to Groom Lake, where I deplaned and waited for a bus, and the bus drove me down to S4. The S4 facility is an area just off the Papoose Lake bed, dry lake bed, and it consists of 9 hangars. The hangars have sloped doors on them with a sand texture coating. Around the opposite end of the hangars, there's the standard entrance where you're dropped off at, go through a security check, and inside there's a small complex.
So it's important to know that Bob Lazar at the time was the first person to refer to S4 or Site 4 as a real place. So no one before him talked about S4, and you can't find any visible base on Papoose Lake. So if you zoom in, I'm using Bing Maps to take a look here. You can't see anything, but that makes sense. You can see a road that goes from Area 51 to Papoose Lake. So there's a dirt road that goes there, but there's no base there. So, but Bob Lazar tells us that the base is covered up in some sand texture that makes it impossible for satellites to get a real picture of what's going on. And Bob Lazar also refers to Janet Air. So Janet Airlines is a known transporter of workers to Area 51 and other bases inside these testing grounds. So we know those planes exist and go from Las Vegas to this place. We also know about the bus. So everyone knows about the bus that carries workers to Area 51. the so-called white bus that can be seen by tourists. If you want to, you can visit the places where the bus stops. It's basically an old school-style bus with blacked out windows of a white color. And this bus was probably the way that Bob Lazar was transported from Area 51 to S4. So we've got, this is basically a map of what we're talking about. So it's a very large area. The airspace is restricted in this area. So you have Rachel here. So if you ever heard about the little alien, so basically Rachel it's a very small town. That's the closest town to Area 51, and usually if you go there to visit, usually you go to Rachel to eat something before you go to the border of Area 51. But basically south of Rachel, you'll find Groom Lake, basically the large dry lake that has the military base on it. And further down you will find Papoose Lake. So that's a dry lake with no visible area, military area in it. But here you can see the Nellis Air Range, Nellis Air Force Range. So it's a very, very large site, which includes the Nevada test site where nuclear armament was tested. So this is basically Area 51 and Papoose are located right in the middle of this very secret, very hard to access area. So it makes sense that people that work there go by plane. Some go by bus, but most of the workers were brought there by plane. One thing that Bob says is that people in Area 51 had no knowledge of UFOs. So he's basically saying that Area 51, as well as other visible above ground military bases, are used to develop basically new airplanes, new weapons, new weapon systems, to test radar systems, etc. But they don't host this kind of materials. They don't host UFO materials. So those are guarded underground across the USA, as far as we know, and some of them are still probably guarded inside Site 4. So Site 4, basically, some months ago, a pilot took some rare photos around Area 51. Those photos include pictures of range targets, drone bases, and so-called UFO legends. So basically, this pilot was able to go across Area 51, very close to Area 51 and other sites, and take some really cool pictures. I'll link the article in the description below if you want to see it. But from the get-go, when we see the article, I gotta highlight one thing immediately. So you have Area 51 above, you have this mountain range, and then you have Papoose Lake below. And here you can see the dirt road that leads from Area 51 to Papoose Lake, and that basically hides Papoose Lake from the Area 51 workers. Another place that he took pictures of is Yucca Lake. Yucca Lake is down further down below from Papoose, and that's basically, as far as we know, is a drone testing base. So, but for now, what will interest us the most is Papoose Lake. And to start off with, if you look at the main picture that is published on this article, you will see two faint blotches or marks on the side of the mountains in Papoose Lake. And I can tell you right now, these can be other things than the hangar base doors. So this is very strange. Why no one's talking about it? So even in this article, they joke around a little bit about Area 51. They publish a photo of Area 51 of Papoose Lake. They connect the two. They even joke about a little bit about some graffiti on the ground. Someone graffitied the word UFO with an arrow on the ground. This is all very strange stuff. But further down, the person that wrote the article begins to talk a little bit about Papoose and talks about UFOs and the Bob Lazar story as a fake. So basically, they're telling that Lazar obviously made it all up, but okay, did he made it up? Didn't he? I won't give you the definite answer to that. You'll make your own conclusions. We're here to just to see the facts and to show these incredible photographs. So basically, the pilot with a small Cessna, a small plane, he basically overflew Papoose, very close to going really close to Papoose, and he took some wonderful recent pictures of Papoose. These are the pictures. Again, I'll link the article below, but let's go into detail of some of these pictures. So a zoomed in picture of Area 51 in the background, then the mountain range. You can see the small dirt road that goes from Area 51 above, small dirt road that leads to Papoose Lake. This lake is often flooded. The article also mentions that, but this is the first picture that begins to show something over here. So there are some blotches here in the right side end of the photo that look very suspicious. What are those? So another picture, almost the same perspective, but there you can see both blotches again, both marks on the side of this mountain. So again, is it a feature of the terrain? It doesn't seem to look like that. It seems like camouflage doors to me. Let's see another picture. So a really good quality, high resolution picture of Papoose Lake from only some months ago. So these are early 2020 photographs, very important photographs, and you can see two big blotches on the terrain. Here's one, here's another one, right on the side of the mountain. So those don't seem like natural occurring irregularities on the side of the mountain. If you're looking for camouflaged hangar doors, you found them. You just found them. So one last picture. Again, two distinct features here on the side of the mountain. Could this be the fabled hangar doors that Bob Lazar talked about? So he basically said that those hangar doors would allow the spacecraft, the UFOs, to be tested. So basically, you have S4 is an underground base, and you have the only exit to the base will be a simple access that is also camouflaged, an entrance, and then camouflaged hangar doors that would open from the side of the mountain and would allow the saucers to be brought out and tested. So we know from testimonials from friends of Lazar, namely Lear. Lear's took some video of him, Lazar, and some friends watching the tests on Papoose Lake. So those were made, those videos were made far away from this dry lake bed, but you can see how it is possible that the spacecraft would exit those hangar doors. Those hangar doors are very low, very close to the dry lake bed. This photo shows the lake bed after some flooding, so it's not completely dry, but you can see the road clearly that goes from Area 51 to Papoose, and you can see something that could be the hangar doors. I've never seen a picture of Papoose Lake that would show hangar doors. So if you go to the satellite picture, you don't see anything in that region. Even if you zoom in real close, you don't see any features near the dry lake, or maybe very faint features. So you see this tongue, like a tongue coming out of the terrain, and you can identify that the peninsula, kind of an island here, and the hangar doors would be here. But this is a satellite picture, probably something that Russians and Chinese could look into. And from a satellite picture, you don't see anything. So this is very well camouflaged. But if you put the two pictures side by side, you kind of start to see something here. So there's the island. There are the two distinct features that are very prominent in other zoomed in photographs that this pilot took. So there's something there. Again, the island, the two prominent features. Again, the island, the two prominent features camouflaged on the side of the mountain. So it seems to me that we have the first really good up-close pictures of the hangars and of Site 4, according to what Bob Lazar said. So this is it, guys, for now. Leave your comments below. What do you think? Do you think this could be the fabled hangar doors of S4? Please leave me a comment saying yes, no. What do you think? Okay, bye-bye.